Hey, welcome back to Kitchen Table Conversations with Multicultural Family Hub. I'm Kjessie,
And I'm Andre.
and we're going to tell you a story today about some super spicy chili. So, this week, I plan all my meals at the beginning of the week and do all the grocery shopping. I'm the one that loves to cook and has like taken that role on. Healthy food is super important to me. It's just a value in our family. So when the twins were born, I got really focused because we live in a rural area. We have to drive to grocery shop. And so creating healthy meals every week takes a lot of work and energy. All of our kids, I'm sure like yours, have very specific opinions about what they like. And so every time I plan a meal, I'm always shooting for 3 out of 5 people to like it, which is 2 adults, 1 child are in. So as I'm planning meals this week, I'm like, oh yeah, chili. Like chili is a 5 out of 5 typically. I have this
Yeah.
rockin' recipe for turkey chili that has white beans that I soak and cook and like corn and vegetables. And then I serve it with a really yummy cornbread. And I'm like, we're gonna knock Monday out of the park. So Monday has also become something new. I'm trying to hold space and let our kids follow what they're interested in. And one of our sons is obsessed with baking and cooking, and not just like from a recipe. And to be fair, this child is 7. So there's a lot of things that he can't quite do yet. And I feel like I've said no a lot in the kitchen before just because I'm like trying to get dinner on the table and doing all the things. But he has his own little play kitchen, he has his own stuff, and he is like amped on being a chef. So I've set aside Monday to be his experimentation time. So Monday, I know that in the kitchen is going to be he and I, and he is creating something to bake. Recently, he's been making cookie cakes, which they have no recipe. He is making all of it up, and
Completely freestyling it.
it's like lots of eggs and things falling on the floor and like full chaos while I'm making dinner. But I have like taken my deep breaths. I'm ready for this. I know this is coming Monday, but what is also coming Monday is chili and it's gonna be good. There's not gonna be any dinner time stress. So we're rolling. So Monday, we're like making the cake, I'm making the chili. I'm always like doubling things, doing math in my head, like, oh, this is what I did last time. And I was helping Leo with the cake, and I'm also making the chili. So I'm like, I think that was the right amount of chili powder that I did last time. It should be fine. So the cakes get made, the chili gets made, the cornbread gets made. We're like, oh, we all sit down to dinner. And first bite of the chili, and we are all on fire. Like it is so
So,
spicy.
so hot.
So spicy. Like kids are chugging water, like
Sweating, sweating
cornbreading.
hot. And just for context, my family is of Caribbean descent. So I've been around spice my whole life. And I consider myself, when it comes to spice, like I can hold my own. I really enjoy a good spicy meal. This was
Fire.
fire, instant fire.
Fire. Yeah, and one of our children, bless his heart, like really likes spice. So he's just like crying and is like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The other two are just like, I can tell like everyone's looking to me to see my reaction, as in like, oh, like we don't want to make mom upset. Like there's like this moment of tension. And this all happens in like a split second. I just have like a wave of frustration and shame and this like avalanche of stories, which is like, oh, I spent all this time. I was in the kitchen for like 3.5 hours. Now we won't have leftovers. Like I ruined dinner. I spent all this time and just like all these thoughts and feelings, but like overarching like shame and frustration.
But let's back up. Why was it so spicy? Like, what had happened?
It was so spicy because I was distracted, also helping my son cook. And I couldn't remember how much I'd put in previously.
How much chili powder or something?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we had over chilied. We'd over chili powdered the chili.
Correct.
And so that
Big time.
resulted in some fire chili.
Big fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so what were you making this very delicious but very spicy chili mean about you once you realized how hot it was and that two of our kids could not eat it, and I could eat a little bit of it, and our other son could eat a little bit of it.
Um, I was telling myself that I shouldn't have been distracted and that I should have remembered and that I was ruining dinner and meals for the week and that good people, like a good mom, wouldn't have done that. And so, or like if I was a good cook, or like whatever it was, if I was good
Mm.
at my job. So basically, if I was good, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so
So,
if I was good, I wouldn't have, over chili
chili.
the chili over chili powder the chili. Yeah, yeah. Um, and so you were making the outcome of this dinner mean something about your self-worth.
Yeah, based
Okay.
on the emotions I was feeling,
Yeah.
definitely. That like if just so much frustration because if I would have been better, like this wouldn't
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, this is all happening at dinner time. Now, I'm kind of, because Chessie and I've had these conversations. We've talked about these concepts. So I know I'm kind of watching her and I know what she's processing, what she's going through, what she's trying to not let come up. But at the same time, my mouth is on fire, I'm sweating, and the kids are also in this situation also, and I'm watching them try to figure out like,
What do we do?
what do we do?
How do we
Like, do
respond?
I keep eating something that I can't eat? Do I do that because I want mom to feel proud or to feel good about the dinner
Or not feel
or
bad?
not feel bad? And then I am in the situation also kind of going, okay, what do I do? Do I lovingly let my partner feel her feelings and emotions and work through this process around this, but at the same time, allow my kids the freedom and the autonomy to say, hey, this isn't really good for my body and it's kind of painful. And thank you, mom, for dinner, but I'm going to have one bite and that's it. Right? Or do I, in order to make my wife feel okay, somehow send my kids nonverbal or verbal messages of like, hey, suck it up, eat the spicy chili,
Make her feel
make
better.
her feel better. Let's all make her feel better, and then we'll deal with the consequences of those choices later.
Which we did.
Which we did. But and so what, for me, my work in that situation was to actually hold space for everyone, to lovingly hold space for Kjessie to feel the feelings she was feeling, process those emotions, but then go through the process of getting to the root cause of why she was, what she was making the chili mean about her, but then also to hold space for my kids to be the kind of people that are able to lovingly look someone they care about in the eye and say, hey, thank you, but no thank you. Or, hey, I tried that and my body's telling me this isn't good for me, and be able to choose something different. Yeah.
What do you think a previous version of Andre would have done in that situation? Like before allowing people to have their own emotions and because we know we can't make anybody feel
Mhm.
a certain way, but we could try and we've been conditioned to like try to make people feel better.
Mhm.
Um, so what do you think how might have you acted previously?
I probably would have taken one or two routes. The first one would probably have been to definitely send the kids like a nonverbal or a verbal message of like, hey, suck it up, eat this fiery hot chili so that mom feels good. Or I would have gotten frustrated with you for being upset that it was like too hot. Like I would have wanted either side to somehow be okay with the situation. Make it better for the other person, as opposed to just like everyone individually gets to gets to have this experience and figure out where they land on it. And it was interesting because two of our kids couldn't eat it. One of our kids not just ate it, he had it for breakfast the next day.
Woo! He loves a good
I
spice.
I ate it that night, had it for lunch the next day, and after that I had to tap out. It actually got hotter overnight. So, and so that I think I would have tried to do something is my point is I would have tried to take an action, make it better, faster, quicker, as opposed to just letting you as the adult lovingly letting you be okay, like letting you go through it, you know?
And it took a minute. Like I was bummed at dinner. Like I was kind of in my own story and trying to wade through it. Having, like I said, feeling like embarrassed that I had somehow messed up dinner and also, like I said, frustrated that I had this perceived like wasting time, which if you like roll it back was spent with my son in the kitchen creating things. There was still there was still a good meal on the table. And even if there wasn't, there was this lesson that this like other piece of the lesson I think for our kids too is like, how am I gonna respond when I mess up? Like, am I gonna beat myself up? Am I going to be ragey and angry and pick up the chili and throw it out? Or can we, and we were by the end of the meal like laughing about the fire chili. There were some like reference last
That got
after
funny real fast.
real fast. After at nighttime, the kids had gone to bed and like the twins were up in their room, and there was definitely some farting happening. And Leo, one of our sons, whispered to his sister, "That's what you get for eating the fire chili."
Actually. Yeah,
So
yeah.
like so the just so much how our reactions how we react really
Mhm.
matters. And I did not react perfectly. Like I had a like all through dinner was just like wrestling with the emotions. And then like I said, towards the end of it was able to be like, okay, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad mom because I mess up chili. Like it's which sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy. And um my like uber educated like mature brain is can look at that and say be like, yeah, that sounds nuts. Or if a friend came to me and said that, you'd be like, that's a crazy thought. But these are the thoughts that like sneak in, and if we don't get to the root, that's what eats us.
Yeah. And so one of the tools we'll share with you guys of way, it's an introductory tool of like how you can get to the root. Um, in the moment or even after the moment, is, you can ask yourself that question, like, what am I making this mean about me? In this situation, it's very easy, especially as parents, we can make everything mean everything about us. But yeah, we can make a bowl of really spicy chili mean that I'm not a good person or I'm not a good parent, or I'm not like all of these things, and it happens very quickly. And so that's a tool. It's a question you can ask yourself, what am I making this mean about me? But we also recognize oftentimes we need support or we need an outside person to ask us that question. And this is what Kjessie and I do a lot in our relationship. It's like, it might be she's asking me a question or I'm asking her a question because then it allows us to step outside of ourselves and answer that to another person. And that typically will then allow us the time to process it and answer it honestly. Oftentimes, and this is where coaching in terms of Multicultural Family Hub, where it's something we're so excited to offer to our members, because I know for myself, there's oftentimes if I'm asking myself internally that question, sometimes my mind is so quick and it's so smart that it might not let me get down to the deep, deep, deep answer. It might have me stop midway. It might have me stop a little bit above the ladder because it's even though it's uncomfortable, it's not as bad as saying out loud, yeah, I'm making this bowl of chili mean that I'm a bad father. I'm making this bowl of chili mean that I'm a bad human being. And so, but it's sometimes a lot easier to answer that question out loud to another person and then see it together and go, okay, that's what was driving all these behaviors. That was driving the uncomfortable silence. That's what was driving my physiological reaction to the situation. Because in the end, it is just a bowl of hot chili. It's not good. It's not bad.
Well, this one was not good.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But it's going to be eaten or it's going to be thrown out. It means nothing about who we are as human beings or as
Yeah.
parents. It's meaningless in that regard. But in order to get to that understanding, we have to be able to ask that question. What am I making this mean about me? And so we want to share stories and we'll continue to share stories like these because we want this community to know is like we're in this classroom also. We're constantly learning, applying, and then having to relearn it in in those everyday mundane moments of family, which are cooking dinner or getting kids to bed or all the things that happen throughout the day. And so we're in it with you. We sometimes we get it right. A lot of times we make errors and have to learn. And so that's what we want to share though. But there are tools that, and Chessie and I were talking, it's like these are all just opportunities to practice. That's all they are. And sometimes, like I said, we'll over time, incrementally with support, we start to see ourselves get better at asking those questions that get to the the root behind why we're acting a certain way. So yeah.
Yeah, and in this situation, I think about the like, for me, it's like the lag time and that it gets shorter.
Mm.
So I could imagine maybe like 3 years ago having that experience and like that chili would have haunted me for the rest of the week. And I would have made it mean a lot of different things, possibly even like cut my son off and be like, no more Monday. I need to focus so I can be good.
Mm.
So no more Monday cooking. Uh, I can just think about, and so in this, luckily it only took like the span of a dinner time to like get
Mm.
to a place of like love and acceptance. Me like this doesn't mean anything
Mm.
about me, and this happens, and nobody needs to make me feel a
Mm.
certain way.
Yeah. And we also want to encourage our community that, the conversation you're hearing Jesse and I have right now, we're not special in any way or regard. It's once again, it's like I think as we continue to grow together, you and your partner or you and your family, or you and your kids, you're going to have the tools to have these kind of conversations in real time or after a certain period of time. Like I said, there's nothing special to it. It's just having some concrete tools to apply as the body, especially as the body is having a physiological response to that thought of, I'm not a good person, I'm not a good parent. It kind of, there's some tools, some questions that we'll continue to share through our workshops or through group coaching or through one-on-one coaching. That way you'll get to have a hot chili moment also and get to laugh at it because
I love
it's
that.
pretty funny.
Yeah, that is one of the things we're most excited when we launch Multicultural Family Hub, the community in June. We will be offering group coaching, and you will get to see that we all have these
Yes.
chilly moments, and there is nothing too ridiculous to bring to the table
Mm.
about struggles because it like when you get down to the root of it, it is all so similar in terms of what we are making things mean about us and our value. And we'll keep touching on these pieces and also why it matters. So,
All
thank
right.
you so much for joining us today for this kitchen table conversation. Um, leave us a little story in the comments if you've had a chilly moment. If
Love to
you
hear
liked,
hot chili
if
moments.
anything resonated with you, please let us know or what you would like to hear more about. And we will be back soon.
All right. See you
Thanks
guys
for
next
being here
time.
with us.
Bye.